to the private sector, including the religious sector and so on. Oh no, you can't say it's a bed of roses, but at least there is observable development in the country. And we should appreciate the contribution by the people of Uganda to their own nation and the NRM government that has been behind the changes that we see in the social area, in the political area, in the economic area, in the culture, and so on. Yes, one needs to appreciate the development.
Now, police this morning blocked former FDC President Dr. Kizza Besigye from attending a public debate on East African crude oil pipeline at Emerald Hotel along Bombo Road, where he was expected to give a keynote speech. According to police, the organizers did not follow the right procedure while arranging the debate.
Not allow other people to say anything, to hold political activities, to hold civic activities, because this was a meeting organized by civil society. It was not even a political party activity, it was a civil society activity, only that they invited some political leaders to share views on the management of the oil sector in Uganda. And you have seen how it has been managed. What I can only say, beyond what I have said, is that we shall not take this seated down. This is our country. The oil in the ground is our oil, the oil of the people of Uganda. How it is managed is our direct business and responsibility. And they have stolen everything that they could steal in Uganda. They stole all our public wealth, all our public corporations, which they said they were privatizing. They stole all of them. The airlines, the hotels, the buses, the banks, the what, were all stolen. They have been stealing our taxes on a daily basis. What is underground, let us fight for it.
Now, over 90 acts are to be repealed in the Miscellaneous Amendment Bill of 2022. According to stakeholders in the review of the bill yet to be repealed, laws and acts are inconsistent, unconstitutional, and outdated to the current situation. Among the acts to be replaced include, among others, the Maintenance Orders Enforcement Act, Uganda Commercial Bank Act, some act in line with Finance Treasury Bill Act, Loans Act, Parliamentary Remuneration of Members Act, Uganda Airlines Act, among others. Now, if the whole process is done, the 7th edition of Laws Bill will be passed by Parliament soon. This was disclosed in a stakeholder meeting that was held in Entebbe Tuesday morning. Now, the Minister of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives has held former Governor Bank of Uganda as a reformer during his tenure at the helm of the Bank of Uganda, that he ensured Uganda's and the region's economic stability and progress. Michael Atingego, Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, highlighted the late Emmanuel Museveni as a seasoned professional economist who spearheaded the design and implementation of the economic reform program that restored Uganda from the economic crisis of the 1970s and 1980s to sound economic performance. Take a watch.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Where your father is, that is your home. So we clap to the Lord that Emmanuel went to our father, and one day we'll meet him there. Our true home is where Jesus is. Because he's risen, he's able to touch our lives and comfort us. Betty, may you be encouraged and family that the Lord who took Emmanuel away is the Lord who will be with you until such a day when you come to take you home and meet Emmanuel. May the Almighty God bless you.
It is a great personal honor for me to pay these tributes to the memory and the legacy of Professor Museveni on behalf of Bank of Uganda. He served the Bank of Uganda for over 20 years with superior professional competence, utter commitment, and a profound sense of humanity. The fruits of his professional and personal life are evident to all, like it's been spoken before. I dare say that Uganda's sustained sound macroeconomic policy formulation and a management framework is partly because of the legacy of Professor Emmanuel Museveni.
Like you have spoken, people have spoken before me. I did not even know that you people out there knew that Emmanuel was a spiritual man that was God-fearing. He was a God-fearing man. And I think his life was molded by his fear of God. Emmanuel was a worshiper. He really loved singing. All of you who interacted with him, you knew that many days long ago, when like he would go at vigils, he would be the last person to leave. He would be singing. Some of you can testify to that.
Professor Emmanuel Museveni followed the path of Adam Smith and became an ardent believer of a free market economy where the invisible hand, the forces of demand and supply, determine the equilibrium price. His works teach us that in the management of the economy, what matters is the strength of one's belief and the reach of their vision. Because of his deep belief in the free market, we saw a stable economic monetary policy that kept our inflation in a single-digit level for over 30 years, a record that is unmatched in the management of any monetary policy in the whole world.
He used each day to show those closest to him how much he cared about them. He treated other people with kindness and respect. He was one of the most generous men of our time.
Remembering Professor Emmanuel Museveni. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has commended youth that seek holy matrimony because it's a sign of maturity that reduces moral decadence. This was in a message delivered by Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Missy Kabanda, at the wedding of Dr. Peter Nwahereza, a son to former Minister Elioda Besigye, to his wife, Dr. Patricia, here in Kampala.
All Saints Cathedral in Kampala has for the 18th time hosted a high-profile wedding, and this for Dr. Peter Nduwahereza and Dr. Patricia Mpomugisha. This wedding of the son of former Minister Elioda Tumwesigye attracted huge crowds, including a representation from President Yoweri Museveni, who commended youth that enter holy matrimony.
I thank my son, Mutabani, Dr. Peter Nduwahereza, for being bold at such a youthful age to commit to holy matrimony as opposed to other youth who are taken by living luxurious kind of lifestyle. I commend Honorable Dr. Elioda Tumwesigye for playing such a great parenting role towards Dr. Nduwahereza and the parents of the bride.
The president also appreciated Dr. Elioda Tumwesigye for proper parenting and offered the newlywed couple 10 heifers worth 10 million Uganda shillings.
It's a big vote of confidence. So Minister, thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming. And the person, my regard to the president, for nurturing me and mentoring me, and still supporting me, even now, when I've just gone to be a medical officer.
The wedding and reception at Mbuya Gardens was attended by, among others, Minister Bright Ramirama.
I want to thank the people of Shema for raising a man like Elioda. For me, Ramirama, sometimes I'm very stubborn. I don't follow people without footprints. When you move on Mushenyi Road, you will see the footprints of Elioda.
Now, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development convening in Entebbe is convening in Entebbe for 2 days to disseminate the second national strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancies for 2022, 2023 to 2026 and 2027. The ministry is warned about the increasing numbers of child marriage and teenage pregnancies, hence calling upon other civil society organizations to join the ministry for one common goal.
Given due time and due attention to that, because
ladies and gentlemen, child marriage continues to persist in Uganda despite laws prohibiting it. These statistics are of great concern. Uganda has approximately 5 million child brides, of which 1.3 million girls are married before age 15. The prevalence of child marriage varies across the country from over 50% in Karamoja to less than 20% in Kampala. While child marriage is compatible with education, as you know, 95% of married girls aged 15 to 17 years were not attending school. And by comparison, 27% of unmarried girls of this same age were out of school.
We have had challenges, and of course, which have been exacerbated by COVID-19. If you look at the percentages of the girls that have been defiled, 354,000 children who have been affected by teenage pregnancy. That was in 2020, 2021. We had 290. On average, every month we get 32,000 girls who get pregnant in Uganda. And these are the ones that who go to the hospital. That's where we get the records from. So those who do not go to the hospital, the number may be what? Maybe more. And of course, I was telling you about the report that we received about the girls who have been defiled. We have had girls, 14,000 girls, 14,226 girls who have been defiled. Some have been defiled by their parents, some have been defiled by their teachers, some have been defiled by their guardians. And to make it worse, we have had cases of around 281 children who have been defiled by people with HIV. So imagine, you know that you're HIV positive and you go to infect somebody's child. So as we are looking at this strategy, we want to address some of those things.
So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to appeal to all of us, the state and non-state actors, to work together from this point, I think, going forward, to increase on the level of awareness about some of these basic facts that we are talking about, but most importantly, appreciate the fact that if we want to build defenses against child marriages and teenage pregnancies, we are going to have to build these defenses in the minds of people.
Let's go to the courts of law now, where High Court in Masaka has set the 13th to the 15th of February 2023 to hear the bail application of legislators Mohamed Segirinya of Kawempe North and Alan Sewanyana of Machinje West. Although lawyers for the applicants were set to hear the bail application today, this was impossible, according to the trial judge, Lawrence Tweyaze, since the case was set for mention. The two legislators in Masaka High Court are facing charges of murder, attempted murder and aggravated robbery, which case they pleaded not guilty. The accused persons in this matter are represented by lawyers Elias Lukwago, Caleb Alaka and Samuel Muizi. The legal team expressed concern over the health condition of the legislators, especially Alan Sewanyana, who is now receiving treatment at Mulago National Referral Hospital.
We were requested by the judge who is handling this matter to meet him in chambers. So when we met in chambers, one, there were two issues. The first issue was whether the state was ready for hearing of this matter. And the second issue was whether we were also ready to hear this matter. Then two, they asked the state whether they were ready to hear the bail application and whether we were ready to hear the bail application. For us, we do not have a problem with hearing a criminal matter, but we are not prosecutors. So it's the state which has to be ready for purposes of prosecuting the matter. Decided and said, well, we cannot have parallel trials. It will be exhausting and it will be unfair if there's a trial in Kampala and there's a trial here. So in other words, they said they were not ready for the hearing. And of course, that is true because you cannot have parallel trials, both in Kampala and here, because it's very exhausting, not only to the accused persons, but also to us as counsel in this matter, because we are the same. So after all that was done, the Lord Mayor informed the court about the status and the condition of both Alan and Segirinya. Now, we told court we came to hear a bail application and we are ready for it. The state also said they are ready for it. Court instead told us that it was only ready for mention. They called us for purposes of mentioning the application, but not to hear it, to give directives. Although court was bent to fix this matter for hearing from day to day.
The judiciary, the lawyers, the magistrates do not have a power over it. It is very clear that General Museveni is behind this, and it is a case of putting up a security situation that the people cannot in any way, or the international community cannot in any way interfere. But it is very sad that the case is taking this trend, and it's very annoying. The worrying part is the common Ugandans who are facing different charges and they are being paraded in courts of law to get justice.
Today, the court decision about the two members of parliament, Honorable Mohamed Segirinya and Honorable Sewanyana, is worrying, because all of us were aware when we were at the anti-corruption court, the magistrate decided that all those political prisoners, Honorable Mohamed Segirinya and Alan Sewanyana, were supposed to be granted medical treatment. But we've tried to get in touch with our prison officers, but they refused. For us, right now, what we are going to do as the parents and other people who are concerned with their health status.
We'll now take a short break and return with business news. Stay with us.
To transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
*11. Keeping an eye on all your balance the old way. I got this. Yeah. Balance is... Yeah.
What is he up to now?
*11. Keeping an eye on all your balance with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to see all your balance in one place and in real time. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
I don't miss you.
Welcome back from that break, and this is Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. Let's have a look now at business news. Investors in coffee farming have been advised to penetrate the global market and ensure they add value to Ugandan coffee beans. Ambassador Judith Nsababera was meeting Coffee Investment Consortium Uganda at Coffee City here in Kampala. Take a watch.
Coffee is a perennial crop grown in almost all the districts of Uganda, especially central, eastern, and western parts of the country. It is one of the most important cash crops in Uganda, playing a major role in the livelihoods of many people and as a major foreign exchange earner for the country. There are 2 main types of coffee grown in Uganda, mainly Arabica and Robusta coffee. Most of the coffee farmers have been trading it locally without value addition. Now, investors in the country have come out strongly to boost the sector. Nelson Tugume from Inspire Africa Processing Factory is championing the value addition and is spreading the gospel globally.
If we only concentrated on China, with already 100% tariff tax-free, 100% tariff tax-free. And what that means, if only China, 5% of Chinese take our coffee, we actually don't need to go in any other market. I don't think we are shooting a wrong button. I think we are on the right button. A strategy, and we are done.
While meeting the Coffee Investment Consortium Uganda at the Coffee City in Kampala, the ambassador of Uganda to Guangzhou, China, Ambassador Judith Nsabavera, pledged her commitment to help identifying markets in China.
So really, I just wanted to give briefly, just to let you know, one, I'm here to work for you. I'm here to sell your coffee however way you want me to sell it, I'm here to sell it. But like you said, the difference between $3 on green bean to $50 on a roasted coffee is really quite a big margin.
Yeah.
The Chinese people will tell you that if we buy the roasted coffee, we buy the ground coffee, it's going to lose its oomph or flavor by the time it gets to China. I'm also happy to share with you that I worked on getting Uganda Airlines to fly directly from Guangzhou from Entebbe to Guangzhou. So there's a direct flight. So if there's any issues of saying we can't put coffee on the ship, we have a plane that can take the coffee, right?
Nsabavera, however, urged Ugandans to always buy Ugandan agricultural produce and popularize them abroad as a way of generating more money in the country.
There's a historic aspect of coffee here in Uganda, which we need to explore. Not many people drink coffee here. I couldn't get up without talking to anybody before I drink a cup of coffee.
The Bishop of Southern Collie Diocese, retired Reverend Nathan Ayimbisibwe, appealed for mass coffee sensitization, starting with the church. He explained that he has already embarked on spreading the gospel of coffee growing in the country.
Every Sunday, we have 281 churches in our diocese. Even if every Sunday we choose Coffee Sunday, we call it Coffee Sunday because we are growing coffee, and we say this Sunday is Coffee Sunday. We have ambassadors who are going to teach about coffee, drinking coffee, but at the end of it all, they pray for coffee growers. You know, you attach it with prayer. If you don't attach it with prayers, you'll miss it.
Joseph Bule, UBC.
A item of international news now, we got to the United States of America, where the U.S. state of California is reeling from its second mass shooting in days after a man shot dead 7 former co-workers south of San Francisco. The attacks took place in the coastal city of Half Moon Bay. The victims were all Chinese-American farm workers. The suspect Zhao Chunli, 67, was arrested after driving to a police station. It comes as the state mourns the death of 11 at Monterey Park, about 6 hours southeast of Half Moon Bay during Lunar New Year celebrations. California Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted that he was at a hospital meeting with victims of the earlier mass shooting when he was pulled away to be briefed about the second attack, describing it as tragedy upon tragedy. "26 minutes to the hour of 2 here in the studios of UBC TV. We finally come to the end of this edition of Lunchtime News here this Tuesday, the 24th day of January 2023. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a very good afternoon and see you later in the evening.